is Barry, and this is my bed. Do you have chronic bed rot? Welcome! As we embark on Gypsy Rose Blanchard Life After Lockup, Season 2, Episode 10. We're on the second to last episode, y'all. And I do want to start this episode out by saying I'm sorry, because it might get a little confusing. There's a lot of voiceovers going on while stuff is happening that I want to talk about, so it's going to go back and forth and might get confusing. I'm going to try to be as good about it as I can. I also want to first address the previously on, because I forgot to mention something from last episode. Ryan's talking to his mom and he says that Gypsy tells social media different things than what he tells him. And she says, well, she used to. And he goes, I don't know about that. This is before she has Aurora, before her postpartum days, before we all know she was talking to Ryan. So it seems like she was reaching out to him more than just about the paternity stuff. The episode starts out with a flashback and it says December 28th, 2023, Gypsy getting out of prison and she's with Ryan. And then it cuts to December 28th, 2024, and it's a screaming baby. Aurora is born. She's born at like 9:48 in the morning, and then they show a cut scene and it's Ken at 10:08 in the morning. So they were there, cameras and production were there for the birth of this baby. It's the 10 o'clock time frame that Ken comes out to talk to everybody in the waiting room, and we see Mama Sharon, Christy, Rod, we hear Mia, and we hear another voice of a woman. I don't know who it was, maybe Kathy, Christy's sister, or it sounded too young to be Gigi. They're all asking questions like, did he cut the cord? Yes. Did he cry? Yeah, he bawled. He says she has a full head of black hair. She's perfectly sized. She doesn't need to go to the NICU at all. So does that mean she's full term and not a preemie? No, she's a month early. The labor room she's in is really big, and the bed is like far away from the, I was going to say passenger bed, the other bed for the dad. And Ken's like sitting all the way over there awkwardly, and she's like in her gown still like half down from breastfeeding, holding the baby. She looks like she hasn't even been cleaned yet. She's like, you want to come over here? He gets up and he awkwardly stands behind her like, and sees them for what they're doing. They put those scenes back to back like that. That was done on purpose. We see another sunset time lapse, and Gypsy's in new clothes, so's Ken, and she's talking about how the first night was good. They slept pretty well, and then the second night, it was a little worse. She was fussy. She says that she's been calm through the whole process, and production says, so are you saying you're the calm one? And she's like, yeah, I have my moments. And Ken and her both giggle, and he's like, all right, I'll give you this one. So I guess she is the calm one in this scenario, which totally makes sense after watching Ken freak out just simply because he couldn't find her bag or the gas pump wasn't working. And how many times he has brought up that he's not excited about having a screaming child around. So as soon as that baby starts crying, he probably goes into full-on panic mode. And it's not much of a testament to Gypsy being calm or anything. It's just really the fact that the baby wants the mother's warmth. So as soon as Gypsy probably gets the baby, and she calms down. Next we see Gypsy in the restroom, and she's getting ready to put some makeup on, and they show in the background, you can see her little squirt bottle for going to the bathroom. I'm like, you could have hid that, Gypsy. If you know they're coming in the bathroom with you. While she's doing her makeup, there's a voiceover of her talking about how Ryan didn't come and sign the affidavit. So on the birth certificate, she's an Anderson and he's listed as the father. And I can see why this is going to really bother her, because she already changed her name to Blanchard. So she's not even an Anderson anymore. So Aurora has neither her or her father's last name. And due to the craziest type of circumstances, neither does my son. So I can't really laugh at that. Hello, Editing Barry here, and I noticed something while I was in the editing process, so I wanted to pop this in here. I always thought her name was Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Apparently, she has another middle name.
So on her birth certificate, she is listed as Aurora Raina Anderson, and Ryan is listed as the father currently.
Al-Qaeda? She says Ryan's mother told him that coming out there would be too hard on him emotionally, so she's like, I've accepted it. She doesn't say anything about how she understands, nothing like that. I don't think she's happy about it at all. She didn't get her way. Obviously, she's upset. She doesn't care if it was going to be emotionally taxing for him. because this affects her, so she's not happy about it. They show some little homemade clips of them in the hospital room, like before they're getting ready to leave, and Aurora starts crying, and Ken goes to pick her up, and he holds her so awkwardly, like just laying flat and holding her head like this. Oh, it's okay, baby. Putting her in the car seat, and he's like, I don't want to break her. And I remember feeling that way with my firstborn. He carries the car seat and leaves Gypsy to push all the luggage and their cart out. Like, he's got the simple job, really. They're in the car leaving the hospital, and Gypsy asks, how long do you think we're going to be able to keep this on the down low? He's like, we should just announce it. So the one time he's okay with it, she's not. She's like, well, I just wanted to have some peace. He's like, word of mouth is going to spread. Either we get ahead of it or we don't. Or we wait for the overwhelming amount of questions. And the convo pretty much ends there. They pull into the driveway and Raina's there. She ends up staying with them for 5 days to help them adjust. Ken gets Aurora out and brings her into the house and shows her to Parker and all that, and she starts crying, and he instantly gives her to Gypsy, and Gypsy starts to give her passy, I think. 10 years from now, because people don't care about facts and logic and reason. All they care about is their drama, the gossip, and the bullshit. And he ate with that. He really did. I'll give credit when credit is due. Raina says, you're going to have to be prepared for the backlash. And he's like, I get backlash constantly. And I'm the only one that has accepted that it's never going to end. This is a lifelong thing. I think that was a stab at Gypsy because she thinks that simple things like having an interview at a college is going to change people's minds about her. She doesn't get it. She doesn't understand that it's going to be forever. He says he does. Then why are you bitching that this is going to happen to your kid if you know this is going to be a lifelong thing? She's going to get bullied at school. You're going to have to homeschool your kid. Gypsy says she has no need to gloat and say, I had my baby. I had my baby.
Like, I had my baby. Like,
she's like, I just don't care. And I don't know why you do. And he's like, I would just prefer to announce it than other people announcing our news for us. And his mom's sitting there like,
that is, I don't care. And I don't know why you do.
I just think that it'd be nice for us to announce our news instead of others to announce it for us.
Go, Mom.
There's a timestamp on screen. It says December 31st. It's New Year's Eve, and Gypsy and Ken had a baby's appointment and cut off. A baby's appointment. A doctor's appointment for the baby and cut off, so they stop in at the Blanchard home to visit Christy and Rod for New Year's Eve. And Christy brings her dog up and says, Aurora Grace, meet Aurora Raina. Just to remind us that Aurora has the same name as her grandma's dog. So they're sitting down with Christy in the living room, and Ken asks again, so are we going to wait, or are you ready to announce? And she says she just wants to wait for a little bit. And Christy repeats Gypsy's words that just enjoy the peace. Ken says he's only told family, but now he has friends reaching out to him and asking if Aurora's been born, and he's ignoring them. And she's like, you can tell your friends. I just don't want any of us reaching out to mainstream media. Go ahead and tell your friends. He says he just wants to make an Instagram post. And Christy's like, he just wants to shout it from the rooftops. I get it. She backed him up more than his own mom did, but we all know that she would because she has a big old fat crush on Ken. Ken shows her what picture he wanted to use because it doesn't show Aurora's face. And she's like, oh, that's a good picture. And Christy says, oh, it's perfect. It's a beautiful picture. He's like, all right, that's it. We'll do it then. She never agreed to it. She just said it's a good picture. She still said she wanted to wait. But he's got Christy on his side, so that means it's good to go. Oh, and Gypsy said, just don't do the picture of me with my legs open. She's like, oh yeah, Gypsy in action. And then drunk Rod comes busting in with his New Year's Eve hat on. All loud with the newborn, you know. She didn't wake up crying, but still, she's like 3 days old. I think Rod was drunk. He says he didn't call Rod back because he knew what he was going to do. I'm not going to drive 3.5 hours there, sign a piece of paper, and drive 3.5 hours back. I'm not going to do it. Good for you, dude. That is craziness that they're even asking you. And the fact that, so let me get this straight. Gypsy was messaging him about the paternity papers. She had her lawyer email his lawyer about the papers. She messaged his mom about it. And his mom said he's not going to do it because it's going to be too much for him. What does she do? She has her dad message him about it, call him the day she's going into labor to ask him to do it. She cannot take no for an answer at all. She did not get her way. She knew she was going to get her way, and she was panicking. She was crashing out, reaching out to everybody, having her dad do it. And he did it too. He didn't say no. And then Ryan says she ended up texting him later that day Aurora's weight and her name. I'm sure it was behind Ken's back. He says he's doing the math. He realizes how early Aurora was, and it's a little too close for comfort. If she was born in January, it'd be a different story. She was due January 22nd, and she was born on December 28th. She's a month early. Full head of hair, full baby.
Baby was born in January 22nd. I wouldn't be this concerned. The baby came out full with a full head of hair and full baby. I mean,
Not half a baby.
He says before he signs rights over for a baby, he needs to know that it's not his. Which is understandable, but a test was taken, so he saw the proof of it, right? I guess he needs to take it himself. He's not believing it. Oh, and I noticed because like this whole season, they've had Gypsy's husband, and then for Ken, Gypsy's boyfriend. Now since the divorce, as Gypsy's ex-husband. Next, we're at Ken's house, and the prompt on screen says it's been 1 week since Aurora's birth. And he's like putting his shoes on, and she's like, so what? You just put your uniform on whenever you get to work? And he's like, yeah, I'm allowed to wear all black whenever I set up, and then when we open, I change into my uniform. Which I mean is kind of a valid question, because why are you changing? I don't know why you would do the added work at work. You know what I mean? To change into a uniform while you're at work seems silly, unless it's like some full-on get-up chef's outfit, but he's a bartender. That's what I thought. Ken tells production that it's time to go back to the full-time schedule. Gypsy's going to be there for a couple more days, and he'll be there at night with her. Before he walks out the door, she's like, "You still sharing your location with me? And text me whenever you leave work." Mother is a protector, and being the person you need to be in order to raise what is essentially a fresh start. You have this little person that you can instill morals and values and dreams and hopes in. I don't even want to think about what Gypsy Rose's morals are. You have to make sure you're in your right mind to be that person. Gypsy's crazy ass mind raising a child, instilling morals, home-wrecking morals. She definitely has no morals after we saw how she treated her mom, Nick Godejohn, and Ryan. The whole time this is like a voiceover, and we get to see Gypsy at home, and she's rocking Aurora, feeding Aurora, like making the bottle, changing her, doing tummy time with a 1-week-old. Is that too young? I don't remember doing it that early with my kids. They cut to her little like dry erase board on the fridge, and it shows the times of things she's writing down, like for feedings and stuff, but all she has written down is at 12 o'clock she did bath time, and then at 9 a.m. she did tummy time. So she wrote it backwards. Like first you would think you would have written the 9 a.m. one, so to me it looks like she was just listing stuff she did that day from memory, like, oh, I did this and this for the cameras. She ends this voiceover with taking a nap with Aurora, and then they show like a time jump. They show a little bit of B-roll, and then it comes back to her. She's dressed for the day. She's sitting in her rocking chair talking to production, and she says that she understands that she has responsibilities of feeding and changing Aurora, and then she starts breakdown and crying, saying that she's been putting in all this effort. I don't know. I don't understand the correlation with the jump she made, so I'm going to play the clip. Pumpkin patch, pumpkin patch, pumpkin patch. We see a timestamp on screen that says it's 2 weeks since Aurora has been born, and she has a meeting with that doula lady where she had her private birthing classes. She asks how she's doing, and Gypsy lies and says good, because then she immediately goes into how she has anxiety and it's been bugging her that Aurora could get SIDS. If I do this, she could get SIDS. If I do that, she could get SIDS. If I do this, she could die. If I do that, she could die. And for the last couple days, I've just wanted to cry. And I'm just bawling. She says she mostly does the night shifts, so every 2 hours. She wakes up with Aurora. The doula lady just agrees with her, it's like that can feel very isolating. And it can be overwhelming when the night comes on. She's like, that's exactly it. As soon as I'm fine during the day, and then as the night comes on, I start getting overwhelmed. Is she going to be fussy? Is she not going to want to be in her bassinet? Am I going to get 6 hours of sleep, 4 hours of sleep, 2 hours of sleep? She's going through postpartum. You can tell. And postpartum is nothing to mess with. I had it with both of my kids, and it is horrible. She says she thinks that all of this is coming from her not having any form of responsibility in her life ever before. She's never had a job. She never had anything that had to hold her accountable. What about that crime you committed that you supposedly were held accountable for and served your sentence for? So you have been held accountable. Later that day, we see Ken and Gypsy outside. They're on their porch with their fire, and he asks how's mom doing during postpartum, and she lies again and says she's good. He's like, well, if there's anything that I can do around the house to help, because I know that I'm at work, and when I'm not at work, I'm asleep. I sleep and I work. And she giggles, even though I know she probably is so pissed off that he just said that. All he does is work and sleep. But if there's anything during the day before I go to work that I can do to help out, and she's like, well, I can't always be the only person taking care of her. Can't be the only one holding her all the time. He's like, well, you don't. I help you. And she's like, well, if I wasn't saying you weren't. Go in and tell him how she was feeling. And then he's like, no, that's not true. I do this and this. I help. So then she backtracked. And she's like, well, she tried again and said, I feel like I'm trying to learn everything on my own. He says, I want to be there just as much as you want me to be there. We just got to get through these next several months. So he thinks she's talking about when she goes back to cut off, not right now. He thinks she's talking about she's going to need help once she leaves and goes to cut off and wants him there. But she's talking about right now, here in the now, you are not helping enough, is what she was trying to get at. He's like, you're never not going to have me. I'm always going to be there. She's like, I know. And in a voiceover, she says, Ken's just been really busy and he's got a lot going on lately. So he's here physically, but not emotionally. And what does he have going on in his life other than having a newborn? That's what he should be focusing on. Work and the newborn. I understand that he's busy with work because he's back to the full-time schedule, but what else does he have going on in his life that's bothering him so much that he can't be taking care of his kid? Ken's like, I know we have a strenuous 5 months ahead of us, but we'll get through it, and time is flying, and it's going to continue to fly, like doing his like philosophical, meaningful lists, because he's trying to be meaningful, but he just is saying meaningless shit. She's just nodding along. He missed all the hints, and I mean, it's not entirely his fault because she keeps trying to say it and then backtracking, so she's not really helping herself. He's like, no more parole to deal with. And she says, that'll be nice. And she's just staring at the fire like no energy at all. He goes, hell yeah. Then there's a voiceover and she's like, I'm trying to have better communication with Ken. Sometimes she'll say how she feels and not get the response or comfort that she's looking for. This voiceover of her talking when they're at the fire pit turns into showing her, it's an interview actually, she's on Ken's bed and she's got a haircut. It's the bob cut crop look. Production asks her what happens when she doesn't get that level of comfort that she's looking for, and she says that she will start to self-isolate. She'll put up a wall and put you on the other side so you can't hurt her. And then it cuts back to them at the fire pit and he's asking her with this like disgusted look on his face, are you feeling all right? She says, mm-hmm. And he goes, all right. Like he's so annoyed that she could have emotions and feelings and be upset right now. Like he's so pissed off at her about it. So disgusting.
Are you feeling okay? Okay.
I really hate whenever I side with Gypsy about things, but I mean, we saw it already where the baby started crying, and he instantly just gave her, and she wasn't even going to breastfeed. I'm pretty sure she just gave her passy. That was it. He could have done that. So it's been 2 weeks of that. She's tired. She's the only one taking care of the baby. She's the only one learning and figuring anything out by herself, and you are no fucking help at all. When she tries to communicate with you, you just shut her down. No, that's not true. I do help because you made one fucking bottle in 3 days. I don't know, I'm guessing. Sorry, this is touchy to me because I went through this, except my ex was messaging his ex-girlfriend at the same time too, so I laughed at my son's 3 months old. The next scene we see is Ken putting dishes away and Gypsy is writing on a dry erase board on the fridge that says, take out the trash. I mean, Ken seems pretty cleanly. Every time we see him, he's cleaning something. I'm surprised he forgets to take out the trash, that he needs a reminder to take out the trash. But okay. And then she takes her little dry erase magnet board that's her for feedings, the times of the feedings, and she puts it in her backpack, and there's like this voiceover. She's talking about how she's going back to cut off for the first time since having Aurora. The rocker that we see her in continuously, Aurora, like bouncer or something for sleeping, they're dragging that to bring it with them. So I guess Ken got his way and they didn't get 2 of everything. But Gypsy did get her rocking chair for breastfeeding, so at least they compromised there. 2 things about that statement, okay? 3. 1, I think production asked him a question about not helping Gypsy. 2, he still thinks they're talking about cutoff. 3, he mentioned now Gypsy's going to have Christy at least in cutoff, and I think that's going to be more help than he is. He is not picking up what they're putting down, what anybody's putting down. They get to cutoff and she starts making a bottle, and he's like, is it time to feed yet? You don't even know what time it is to feed your child? It's every 2 hours, bro. It took you like 2 hours to drive there. Yeah, Gypsy's doing what she should be doing, making a bottle for the baby. What is wrong with you? And then she asked, do you want me to feed her or do you want to do it? And he's like, I'll do it. And I think he only did it because he's about to not see her for a while because he's about to leave. I would guarantee that if this was 3 days ago at Ken's house and she had asked, he would have said, you can do it. That's why they have problems right now. While he's feeding Aurora, there's a voiceover of Gypsy saying that with Ken, there's an emotional need that is not being met. And I push away when it's not being met. And her greatest fear is that Ken will get tired of it, tired of how emotionally taxing I am. So she doesn't want to continue to hound on how much help she needs because she doesn't want him to leave her. And why are you messaging Ryan if you're not going to leave Ken for Ryan? And then when he's going to leave, he tells her to not fall asleep with Aurora in the bed with her. And she's like, I never do. You did last night. That's because she was on my chest. So she just lied like that. It really comes second nature to her.
Trying to fall asleep with her.
And her lie was like automatic. And she lied to him knowing that he knew the truth. That she really did fall asleep. So it was for the cameras. I guarantee it. She didn't think that he would actually call her out on camera. We see Ryan and he's out playing pool with his friend named Jacob. He says he's trying to get out, trying to meet new people, and he seems to be jolly and in a really good mood, and I wonder why. I'm sure it's because he's messaging Gypsy. And he even says that to his friend. Like they're sitting down and he's like, I told you that I was talking to Gypsy again, right? And his friend says, yeah, she wanted to see if you would reply and if you were talking to anybody. She's stringing you along. She doesn't want you to move on. She wants to keep you in that pocket. Preach, brother, preach. He says, if you let somebody do something to you once, they're going to do it again. His friend said, you wanted to have a kid with her and she went off and had a kid with somebody else. So that's closure enough. And Ryan's like, you're right. That's like a F you, isn't it? No shit, Ryan. His friend says, I'd rather see this guy be the dad than you, and that's sad because you'd be a good dad. And that statement right there is what made me realize that they think that he could still possibly be the dad. That's what's going on right here. So they don't believe the paternity test that was taken at all. Then they showed Jacob talking to production by himself, and he's like, yeah, I do think Gypsy has feelings for Ryan. Why else would she be messaging him? Because she just wants something from him. She's just using him. She's not getting emotional support from Ken. Ken doesn't drool all over her like Ryan does. It's self-serving, that's all. She gets something out of it. He says that she's just trying to keep that line of communication open. I don't know why she does it. He doesn't know why she does it. I don't even think she knows why she does it. And my advice to him is always to just cut it off. Ryan says that when they talk on the phone, the love is still there. So they're talking on the phone. It's not just texting. Interesante. Jacob says that's the thing about accountability. You got to be accountable for what you're doing. And there's that word again. Accountability. That's not in Gypsy's vocabulary. Ryan says that their relationship was built with talking on the phone. They would talk on the phone for 3.5 hours every day. And he misses that. He misses her voice. Her voice did it for him. And she loves his voice. She says he sounds like Luke Combs. I don't know who that is. When I hear her voice, it makes me melt. And when I see a picture of her, I love her as a brunette. It makes me melt. He says he's trying and he knows what he needs to do, but Gypsy's the most beautiful girl in the world. I think he thinks he's going to get her back. He really believes that. And he thinks that he's the dad. So he's kind of like on a high right now. Next we see Gypsy and she's in cutoff. She's talking to Rod and Christy outside on the patio.
I called him because I just really wanted to have like a clarity of what we were looking at for the rest of the paternity stuff. He's like, I thought that was on you to get the test. And I'm like, well, I was waiting.
Did you see her little paternity stuff? The head nod thing that she did? I've noticed this multiple times throughout this series that she does that when I think she's lying. It's been like twice now. And this is a time where I know she's lying for a fact. She wasn't talking to Ryan just about the paternity stuff. That's not why she just wanted to talk to him. She wanted to talk to him. She wanted to talk to him. So that was a lie. And that confirmed it for me. Just reading body language. I'm no body language expert, but that seems to be a tell. So basically, they're like, he says, I thought we were waiting on you for the test. And she's like, you weren't conceding to the test we took. And so then they just decide that, why don't we just meet up and take the test together? But you come out here, I'll pay for it. And he says, that's fine. That sounds like a deal. She says she understands why he didn't want to sign, because what if there's a sliver of a chance that he is? And it makes me feel like she's feeding into that narrative for him, even though she knows because she has taken a paternity test with Ken and he's the father, so she knows. But there's a sliver of a chance. What sliver of a chance is that? Shouldn't she be confirming to him, no, there is no sliver of a chance that you are because I've already taken a paternity test? She's like, we might get lunch. We haven't talked on the phone in like 6 months. Christy's like, it was closure for him. Gypsy's like, this could be a segue into possibly being friends. Christy laughs and is like, girl. Rod's like, I don't think that's a good idea. Nope. Christy's like, do you even want to be friends? She's like, I miss the relationship before we were together years and years ago. And I think Rod took to heart what Christy said in earlier, what was it, season 1, I guess, when she was trying to say that the only reason Gypsy got married to Ryan in the first place was because her dad never told her not to get married or some shit, and then making him feel guilty for why she's stuck in this loveless marriage. So he's like, I better stand up and say something so they can't call me out again, saying I didn't do nothing. I'm telling you now, you're going to be giving this man emotional currency. And that's some bullshit. Just because you're in a fight with Ken and you're going to go running off to him, he's calling it right there. Click, click. Whenever she was married to her husband. Huh? No advice to ward off homewreckers? Not in the Blanchard home. We ain't got those morals here. She says when she's in emotional turmoil, she will seek comfort from somebody that she knows or someone that's known her for a long time. She's in emotional turmoil right now, just like she was at the end of her marriage with Ryan, and she seeked out comfort with Ken. She's doing the exact same thing, just backwards now. Because with Gypsy Rose Blanchard, the grass is always greener on the other side, and always will be. She's never happy, never satisfied. In a voiceover, she says that at a time, Ryan was her best friend. Sometimes she doesn't feel like she's understood by her parents or by Ken, and Ryan understands her. And here again, we see her on Ken's bed with the new cut hairstyle. So this is forward thinking here. This is future Gypsy talking. And she's speaking in whispered tones. We're getting ready to take a side venture here, guys. Down TikTok lane. Because the first time I watched this, I remember thinking, why is she speaking in whispered tones? Oh, she's in Ken's bed. I bet Ken's there. So she doesn't want to be heard. Lo and behold, Ken heard her. And we know this because of a TikTok video I just saw the other day. Audrey, she's a lovely woman. I watch her videos. She posted a screen recording of Gypsy's live.
When we were filming our last day, where I was doing my interview where, I clearly had shorter hair. The producers were asking me a series of questions about the last time I communicated with Ryan, and they ask things in a certain way where if they don't get the answer they want, they keep asking it in a different way, okay? So the questions were like, do you feel like you need closure with Ryan? Do you miss Ryan? Do you want him as a friend? Is there something that is still, lingering in the air that you wish you could have said, and all this kind of stuff? So I was answering the questions, and Ken was in the living room. This is at the old place. Ken was in the living room. I was with the producer in the bedroom, and so it was hushed tones, so like nothing could be heard from the living room. But Ken had overheard some talk in the bedroom because the audio guy had like left his audio equipment unattended, and he overheard through the headphones what we were talking about. And so the conversation was basically me explaining everything that I said in the apology video that y'all probably remember. So basically I was explaining to the producer that, like, yes, I had been in communication with him. I did send pictures of Aurora to him. Why did I send pictures of Aurora to him? It was not to rub it in. It was...
So she was talking about how she was messaging Ryan, sending pictures of Aurora to Ryan, and Ken overheard through a mic? That is hilarious to me. She deserves it. She deserves every second of that. And supposedly, that's why he didn't propose to her so far. Kind of ruins my theories, because when all this went down and she made her apology video, the infamous apology video to Ryan, not to all y'all, everybody else can just scroll on, even though she posted it to the public, it was just for Ryan, that video. When all that came out, I was thinking that Ken found out from that video. I'm like, I bet you Ken's finding out with us that she was messaging Ryan. I was thinking that'd be hilarious, and I was like, I hope that's what happened. But we find out now, he found out way back when. Next we see Ryan, and he's showing production pictures that Gypsy has sent him of Aurora on January 2nd. So right after she was born. He said he was glancing at it, checking if there was features, checking the features. She was sending glamour shots to him. One of the pictures of Aurora, he was like, it might be. They're like, it might be what? It's like, it might be my kid. Got the dimple. Oh, right there. Delusional. Delulu. You need to get checked, Ryan. There was a paternity test taken. I understand you saw it on TikTok. You should have asked for the copy. They had one. Hope is a crazy drug. I'll tell you what. In another video of mine, I mentioned how I would get to why I think production liked Ryan, and this is why. Because all this time that the show is airing, Gypsy's making these videos and talking about how she's already sent... We found out that she had messaged Ryan when she was postpartum from her in that video versus finding out on the show. He kept teasing that he would give it to us on his lives and stuff, but he never did. That's why production likes him, because he didn't ruin the show. Gypsy ruined the goddamn show. That's why there's not a third season. She tries to say that it's because she didn't want to show her baby's face because it was blurred out. Lifetime don't give a shit. They would have kept blurring your baby's face out or done shots or angles to like not have to blur her and not show her face. Like they didn't care. It was you and your boring ass show and your high demands. Gypsy even sent a picture of her like half asleep and Aurora laying on her chest, and he's like, that's not even fair. She knows I love her sleepy like that. I wish I was nuzzling next to her. I told her Aurora must be an Anderson because she's doing what I'd be doing. Not just joking. And then she sent me another glamour shot of her that night going out. Was she going out on a date with Ken? Production asked him if he's nervous that once the paternity is established, won't the communication stop? And he's like, of course I am. I've even thought about if she's only messaging me, so I will go and do it. I've thought of all of these things, but these are the cards I was dealt. This is where the episode ends. If you're here at the end, thank you. I appreciate you. You're a real one. This video was probably shorter than normal. Next video will be long. Some of you are saying that you aren't bedrotters, and that's okay. That's perfectly fine. You don't have to be a bedrotter to be here. Bedrotting is a term I like to use openly, but if you are somebody who on your day off, and you have nothing to do, you find comfort in binging your favorite show and eating your favorite snacks and drinking your favorite drinks from your bed or your couch or your hammock, your beanbag chair or your recliner, wherever it is you choose to rot, you're a bedrotter with us. So enjoy. If you enjoyed this video, if you like this video, like this video. For science, maybe you could hit the share copy link. You don't have to share it anywhere, just copy link and make YouTube think you shared it somewhere. That would be cool. We could try something like that. It works on TikTok, so anywho, I hope you had a wonderful day. At least you got out of bed today. And hey, even if you didn't, that's okay too. Sorry for the delay in this video. I made a post about what's going on. I have something in my personal life, and you guys came through in the comments. Your thoughts and prayers are felt. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. The company I work for shut down, and they told us 30 minutes before the end of our shift on Thursday that our last day is Friday. So I'm going through the ringer right now and took a minute to take a break. But I appreciate you guys. You're the best. Thank you so much.